Stress. The very mention of the word makes most of us cringe, thinking about just what it means to us. To most of us, life is simply stressful, and there's really nothing we can do about that. In fact, stress is often perceived as situations that provoke anxiety and/or feelings of stress, when really stress is more so our perception and reaction to these situations as opposed to the situations themselves. So why is this so important? Well, as we're about to go into, stress can have many negative effects on not only the mental health, but also the physical health of the individual, and should be prevented when possible. The most common aspect of stress to most of us would probably be the psychological element. Stress comes from various sources such as work, school, or other situations, and oftentimes as college students, we're trying to balance many of those things at one time, and it puts us under a lot of pressure. According to Vijay Bujade, studies show that college students at all times, 10 to 20% of them are experiencing psychological disorders such as stress, anxiety, and/or depression. And these studies also show that if you were to take 10 college students at random, one of those would have emotional issues worthy of professional help. And considering the vast amount of college students, that's a pretty startling statistic that leaves many college students facing these situations, and most of them probably doing nothing about it professionally. New experiences often lead to stress as well. I label this as the fear of the unknown. And as college students entering a new stages of life, we face many of these, and I'm sure we've all experienced it in some way, shape, or form, whether it be learning to drive or going to a doctor's appointment by yourself for the first time. It's putting yourselves into new situations that often leaves us worried about just how it's going to unfold. But stress is an inverse variable. What that means is that it doesn't necessarily change by events changing. We can establish ourselves in situations, and even if we're experiencing the same amount of assignments, for example, we can have less stress in that class because we've adapted to the teaching style, to the types of assignments, and so we're more comfortable and less stressed by that situation than when we first started. So stress relates to many psychological health issues, but it also can affect the physical health of the individual in many ways as well. The effects of stress on physical health vary widely, and according to Bujade as well, stress is actually the most common and dangerous health issue, the health concern of students. Students are most concerned with stress, and stress can affect physical health in ways such as psychogenic headaches, which are headaches that originate in the mental and stressful situations and then lead to what we know as the common headache, also restlessness, aches, pains, and more. It can also affect on the cellular level, and although this one is not as confirmed among medical science, stress is even promoted to possibly have effects on cancer and other chronic diseases. We don't know for sure how it is directly related, but it is proven that stress can lower the immune system, and that can lead to many chronic issues, especially chronic being stress over many long periods of time can affect the health. Stress can be the cause of more health issues than we realize and should be prevented when possible. But thinking about that, how can we prevent it? There are many ways that science may say to go about it, but looking at stress as our perception of situations, it is important to change your mindset when entering new situations, to be prepared mentally for what might come, and knowing that you will adapt to that situation and not putting yourself under as much pressure as you would under normal situations. You have a confident mindset, and you can also change behaviors and habits naturally. Although it sounds sort of cliche, getting plenty of sleep, eating a healthy diet, and preparing properly for assignments is another way to go about relieving stress. A study composed by several sources and several authors shows that certain students promote certain stress relieving techniques over others. These did involve planning ahead and avoiding procrastination, religious involvement, as well as emotional support and family ties under the stressful situation. So it has been proven that stress can have many negative effects on the physical and mental health, and chronic stress especially can lead to many negative side effects and should be prevented when possible. And although we can't prevent stress entirely, it is important that we take steps to reduce it, and as college students especially, who experience many of these stress-producing activities firsthand. The famous Winston Churchill once said that, looking back on all these worries, I think of a man who said on his deathbed that he had had a lot of troubles in life, most of which had never happened. This quote just goes to show that life is too short to worry about things that you cannot change.